Hello Internet. I want to piggyback on my past videos on subversion and sleeper agents. With the nuclear aspect that I was talking about, how these are weapons of mass destruction and will be and can be used to crush a country and then you conquer it. That's war, It's how the cookie crumbles. But there's less destructive form of that, let's say. It still is destructive, but less matter, more social order. And that's with EMPs, electromagnetic pulse. This disrupts our grid. The grid would be down. And we are so reliant on the grid, and it's a luxury for us. And we are so incapable, which is most likely on purpose, but also, the Industrial Revolution and corporatism has made it so you can just Uber yourself or DoorDash yourself food instead of growing it, which has, boosted up the population. And also, don't fall for the propaganda of the planet is overpopulated and don't have kids. No, that is fear mongering and that's manipulative. Okay, have a family, pursue that if you want that, and do it the right way, and stay in your child's life. Okay, abortion is just dealing with the symptom of the country, not the root problem. Okay, this is a tangent, but I have to bring it up. The living conditions which you fear you putting your children in will raise them to be bad kids or be poor or just not have the life you want to give them. That is not going to be fixed by killing them and then trying to work out for the future. We have to fix the system. We have to call out the things that make it hard to live, to own a home. We can have the nuclear family and be happy and prosperous and give your relationships to God and ask for guidance. And we have to be nice to each other. We have to forgive those little things, not to forgive everything because that can be exploited as well. But don't be so harsh to each other. It's our first time, it's everyone's first time living. Same with our parents. But back to the EMPs. With our grid being down and us being reliant on electricity and in the infrastructure, that will collapse. And with all I've been talking about, subversion, sleeper agents, social friction, remember that word, that term, I feel like this is manufactured so when the grid goes down, our tribal instinct comes out and we will have no love for our neighbor. And like I said, we would only care about the people that look like us, which would suck when we had to care for each other and look out for each other's back. And that tribal instinct will come out in many different forms, in different ideologies, and different belief systems. And and then the other way is just pure anarchy, where people use this to just fuck shit up and hurt other people. And that is just placed and planted into us. So when the system collapses, social order goes with it when it shouldn't have to. That's when we should be as reliant to each other and what we can provide to each other. Like socialism, communism, live in a commune, not too much. That'll lead to a cult. But this civil war, which I pray doesn't happen, but you hope for the best and prepare for the worst. We have to spread awareness to what may cause it and remember each other when the lights go out. And don't let the darkness consume you. When you stare at the abyss, it stares back at you and you'll become a monster. And I don't want that. Let the light of the world into your heart. But with the sleeper agents as well, research and it's somewhat speculative, but it's strategic if you think about it. I learned there's something called suitcase EMPs. Suitcase EMPs are what the name entails. Uh, like a the EMP is in a suitcase, and it's portable, and it can be placed in certain places, and that can be orchestrated. And instead of big one massive deployment of the technology, it's infiltration in the high places, and each everything will break down when people want it to break down, and that'll line up with military operations, with conquering, And I just say this because what's to say a suitcase can't get into the White House or into a Pentagon or in our airlines or our most important faculties? Who's to say the sleeper agents and the infiltration of the ideology and course of action is so rooted in it, the system, that's in the top places? And that's a scary thought for me, at least. And I don't know what I can do besides spread awareness and try to really look deep into these people that are our leaders and are meant to serve us but have gone out of line. And a lot of them are foreign born. What are they allowing in? We see the mass immigration, we see the allowance and leniency with ideologies that caused for the death or call for the death of the Western world in America, like Hamas, like the Muslim Brotherhood. And my last point with the South Jihad, and the reason I brought up the MACA, is not to say that they are in on it and are against all Americans. No. What the book I was reading on was that there's something called absorption. Absorption is where this, remember my symbolism of the Hydra, the head, the ideology that spurts out these agencies will find independent ones that do have a good cause. But the reason I bring up the religious aspect is that when Muslims pray, they pray to the east, to the Mecca, and pray for Islam to be the ruling belief, the ruling religion in Sharia law to be enacted everywhere. And then there's the jihad of our spirit and flesh and submitting to God, which is a noble thing to do. But the absorption comes where these independent clubs or whatnot are used as well. These clubs that are, let's say, simply to express their faith, they can be radicalized or brought to the course of action of the people that are truly trying to spread Islam across the world and to enact Sharia law. And this absorption makes it so they get more resources, more votes, more allegiance. And that can lead to, when pitted against each other, the host and the guest clash. And this is brought to you by the EMP, when the luxurious nature of America, where if you try your hardest, you can achieve the American dream. That's what we're told, and that's what we're all trying to do. But the moment the grid comes down and our Wi-Fi, our electricity, our water, and our order comes down, the Civil War and all the pent up anger and malice and discriminatory thoughts they begin to pour out of people, and this action will lead to more division. And we already see it now when we have it pretty okay. I do feel some tension politically, but it's okay, okay? It's okay. But what's to say when you don't have to keep your job or you don't have to go to school, but you have to fend for yourself and you have to survive. And survival of the fittest is wish-washy. With humans, that does seem to be the case. And to continue my spread of awareness, I want to talk about this pollution. Why am I at my city park, my state park actually, one of the bigger ones, and there's trash bags and bottles and cups all over the place. Like, it's messed up and just wrong. Everyone has work to do. And when you're out being recreational, that doesn't stop. Clean up after yourselves. Leave it better than you found it. What we were taught in elementary, how do we forget it years later once we become independent? It's disgusting. And not to sound like the Unabomber here, but the Industrial Revolution, man, we just pump out this consumerism and these products, and then it affects nature, the the creation that has been given to us, that has provided for us for eons. Let me not say eons, but for hundreds of thousands of years, and for the animals, millions of years. It's messed up. And whoa, while I'm talking about this, there's a turkey. I gotta show this. Do a little. You see it there? Oh, it's behind the tree. Look at that turkey, man. Hope you guys can see it. That is a big bird. Man, I wish I could talk to him. Look at that, you see? If you talk about nature, man, nature looks out for you. That's cool. And this is what I'm talking about. Right next to some trash. It's messed up. That's a cool turkey right there, man. But see what I'm talking about? Why am I looking at the beauty of the world and our filth on the grass? It's messed up, and it shows our hypocrisy. When I have the luxury to talk about politics and all these things, but the world is in pain. It's messed up, man. And our trash and our faults will be littered across the globe for millions and even billions of years, all our trash. And it's messed up. But back to what I was talking about. I don't want to fearmonger. That is the least of my intention. It is to bring awareness and to show how we are being manipulated in our mind, and what our mind gets corrupted by will lead to our actions, our fruit. And I truly believe that the best course of action for this is to be still. Be still, to conversate, and to pray. Pray to God, to Christ, the light of the world, so when there's darkness around us that has been created by the enemy, both in the heart and literally, we don't succumb to our whims and desires and to our lowest state, our beast nature, because we are a beast of this world. We're made in the image of God, but we are definitely beast. So accept Christ and look at his teachings and also what he lived out. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, to his own people. And He still showed so much love. And that's what we have to do to each other when all of us are lost and all of us are in the dark of the powers that be. But there is a power above that, the highest, and that's the Lord, the Father. Put trust in Him and His one and only Son that He sent. And I believe if everyone begins to be more Christ like, then these problems that I bring up will no longer be problems and will be in the past. And our future will look much more brighter and prosperous. But we have to give each other some slack, okay? We're all trying to survive out here and it's hard. But there's people that are exploiting that difficulty to get their way. And for some people, my generation, it seems effective. And the world is binary. So if people are succumbing to the evil, I must uplift the good and the light of the world. I believe and I know that will go a long way, God willing. And God bless America. And if we continue to stray away from Him, He won't turn His face from us. We will leave Him, and He will always be waiting for us patiently for our return. And I do believe for the past decades we did stray away from Him, but I pray we are coming back to Him and that His hand will always and forevermore be over us. And do your research, not only into Christ, but in the world. Look at other media and news, because my motto is that we are all victims of propaganda. We all don't have the full story and picture, but you can kind of piece the puzzle together if you look across the globe. And that's hard, but I hope this community is worldwide and we can talk it out and try to make a better future for us and our children and have a legacy we can be proud of, because they need us most. Look at that illiteracy and the seclusion they all have. iPad kids is a real thing. That's a pandemic right there. And get them outside, okay? That's why I like to be outside. We all have to be outside, be still in nature, and nature will talk to us. God will talk to us, and it calms the nerves. I just want to give my mind to y'all, and y'all talk to me, and I think that'll be cool. It's been your host, Daniel Duarte. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope the audio is okay. It's a little windy. There's birds around. But I also want you guys to appreciate that, okay? That's on purpose. Hope you enjoyed. Watch the next episodes and do your own research. Peace.